this prep gets, we're going for it. Welcome back to the channel and a road to Marbella vlog today. Now previously on this channel, I showcased a photo shoot I was doing in Nottingham. That was 4 weeks ago from today. In another 4 weeks, we've got a bigger, better shoot in Marbella. So today's vlog is going to be all about showing you my lifestyle leading up to that in terms of training, nutrition, and just what I'm getting up to on this prep to prepare me for that shoot. Now I'm trying to be energetic and upbeat today for the camera, but in all honesty, I feel like shit. So my coach, Mr. Ben Bray, very good coach who I've been working with across the last couple of months, said to me that doing a marathon, straight into a photo shoot prep, straight into a second photo shoot prep, was biting off a lot to chew. And I brushed him off. I said, no, we'll be fine. I'm starting to realise he might have been right. So at the moment, sleep's really bad, energy's really low, mood's low, sex drive's non-existent. I've got 30 minutes of cardio a day. I'm doing weights 5 times a week, 10,000 steps a day, food's really low. So it is taking its toll on the body, and I've been in this process for quite a while now where I'm just really putting stress on my body. And in all honesty, it has been tough. But I said to myself at the start of this year that 2025, I was coming for it all. And I finally launched a coaching service that I wanted to do for ages, but really I just didn't have the bottle to do it. I'm coaching around a dozen lads at the moment. They're all getting in great shape. We've dropped 1 transformation already with many more to come. I run a marathon in 3 hours and 20 minutes. I've got shredded for a photo shoot. And now this shoot in Marbella, we're gonna bring the best package yet, and I'm not gonna miss. And my coach Ben also said that the standard of physiques at this Marbella shoot is, in his own words, fucking ruthless. So I'm gonna bring out all the stops. We're gonna make sure we don't miss. Doesn't matter how hard this prep gets, we're going for it. That said, let's get into showing you what I'm up to on this prep. Now today is Sunday, which means it's a food shop day. So let's get down the shop. Right, so I've just got back from the shops. Let's have a look at what I bought. So we've got protein sources, chicken breast, obviously a staple. We've got 2 steaks for my rest days, turkey mince and beef mince. So the mince is for dinner. I like to swap between turkey and beef, just switch things up a bit. Receipt there, get rid of that because touching them kills testosterone apparently. 1 cal spray. If you're cooking in olive oil when you're cutting, not a good idea. So pink salt. We need that on all of our meals, 5 turns. Got some dark chocolate for some healthy fats. Like having that on my porridge oats. Got Greek yogurt, another good protein source, and that's just one of the little snacks I have throughout the day. Then I've got brown bread, and I bought some blueberry jam. I've never tried blueberry, but it looks good. That's for a pre-workout. Loads of berries, and then for my veg, I just have green beans. For me, green beans digest really well, and they're really low in calories, high in vitamins and nutrients, so that's a good option for me. Next thing that I bought is ginger and lemon. So I make ginger lemon shots with a juicer. I have one of them each morning before I crack on with my day. Also chewing gum. So on prep, chewing gum can help to stave off hunger a little bit. So if you've got a craving, pop a chewing gum in, and that normally helps a little bit. The only watch out for that is it can make you inhale more gas. So if you're a couple of days out from a shoot, you probably want to stop that because you don't want like bloating in the stomach to ruin the physique. And then lastly is the 0 cal drinks. I normally get lemonade, but I thought I'd change it up this week. So 0 cal drinks are fine in moderation when you're on a diet. Again, helps to beat those cravings. I use them Normally later on in the diet, I have one with dinner and then maybe another one later on after dinner if I'm feeling really hungry. Sparkling water is another good one that I use as well. Now, we've got the diet, that's on lock, the training's on lock, which I'm going to show you a bit of later on. What else we need to talk about is social events. So it won't have escaped your notice that it's quite sunny at the moment, and that normally means a lot of social events, drinking, barbecues, partying, etc. So how do I manage that? Firstly, I think you need to remember that if you are in a dieting phase, it's not forever, okay? You may have to make sacrifices in the short term. Once you've got there, it's a lot easier to maintain than it is to actually get there. So it's a short-term sacrifice. So I do have to sometimes say no to social events. However, not all of them. For example, last weekend, my mate had a barbecue around his. Everyone was drinking, eating good food. I still went along, but what I did instead was I took along my white rice, my green beans, all weighed out. And then instead of having a burger or whatever, I took 2 chicken breasts, cooked them on the barbecue, taste amazing. And then I used them with my meal instead. So essentially I've stayed completely on plan. I took a couple of diet sodas again to have while everyone else was having the old alcoholic drink. At the time, it is frustrating. You do want to drink. I always find that I get these big cravings when I'm in those situations. However, when you're driving home and then the next morning as well, you feel fresh, you feel good, you look good, you know you've adhered to your plan. That is a really rewarding feeling because it is tough and it is challenging. The other thing you need to be careful of is work. Now, I work in an office, which can be a challenge. I know that all different types of jobs come with their own challenges in terms of adherence to a diet and a training plan. I have just released a video on YouTube detailing the 4 big mistakes that I see from people when they're working in an office and they're trying to get in shape. So check that out if you haven't seen it. There's a ton of good information in there. But in general, I make sure that I'm fasting until midday in the office. I make sure that I prep my food. I make sure that my nutrient timing is accurate. And I'm also optimizing my day for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So I'm getting my steps in. But for now, I'm gonna put this food away. And next we're gonna be talking training and I'll be running you through a workout. So we've just got to my gym, which is Romford Absolute. This is a bodybuilding gym. I always say that if you've got the opportunity to go to one of these gyms near you, do that over a commercial gym because they're so much better. The equipment's better, the atmosphere's better. It's everything you need to get in shape properly. Now, today is gonna be a shoulders and arms workout. Normally, I wouldn't recommend this. I'd say push-pull legs, push-pull, or upper lower, something like that. But for me personally, you probably noticed that my delts and my arms are lagging behind my chest and my back. So I really want to prioritize this across the next year or so, just to bring them up as a lagging body part. Now we're going to start on shoulders, and this first exercise is a machine lateral raise. I like to do this to prep the medial head, get some blood into the shoulders before we press, and it also works as a bit of a pre-exhaustion as well. Key teaching points here: you want to pause at the top and bottom, you want to keep your scapula depressed, and then don't raise your arm past 90 degrees because that's just going to over-engage the traps, and that's not the focus of this exercise. Make sure you're pushing to failure and get around 12 to 15 reps in 3 sets. Now we move on to the key compound for shoulders, which is going to be a dumbbell shoulder press. Now I've been using machines across the last year or so, so I'm really weak on this exercise. I've only just added it back in, so I'm going to try and build some strength up here. I'm going for around 6 to 8 reps, which is on the lower end for hypertrophy. However, what we're doing here is making sure that we push to failure, as we are with all of our exercises, getting a pause top and bottom, nice slow controlled movement, and really thinking about squeezing the medial head of the delt as we push through this movement. Try not to fully lock out the arm at the top as well. You'll notice that I keep a slight bend in it. Then we move on to arms, so shoulders are dusted with those 2 exercises. And we're gonna start with a standing cable bicep curl. Now you can do this dual arm on the cable machine that's a little bit close together. I like to do this one arm because it allows me to really focus on the bicep and the movement and drive tension. Now, key teaching point in this exercise is to focus on the lengthened range. That is where your arm is extended at the bottom, so your bicep, it will contract there, that's a shortened range, and that is the lengthened range. So I'm making sure that my arm trails behind my body so I can really get a good stretch in the bicep, and you'll also notice that I'm flexing my tricep at the lengthened position, and that's just gonna get a real good stretch in the bicep. Now, working any muscle through its full range of motion is going to allow for better hypertrophy, studies have shown. So you want to make sure you're maximizing range of motion on every exercise. Next up is a straight bar cable tricep push down. Now you'll notice here that my upper body is straight, but I'm tilted slightly at the hips, and that's just going to allow again for a better range of motion so that I can fully extend at the bottom of the movement. My upper arm doesn't move. It only hinges at the elbow, nothing else moves. So we're focusing all of the tension on the tricep. We're not using any momentum. We're pausing top and bottom again, and we're making sure that we're driving to failure. So you'll see on the last rep there that I actually struggled to get that. And just all the way through the movement, think about squeezing the tricep as hard as you can. Now is a straight bar cable curl. Again, focused on the length and range of the movement here. So we're flexing the tricep at the bottom of the movement and making sure we pull up in a slow, controlled manner, and then squeezing at the top as well. I like to do a loading set and a back off set here. So I will do a heavier set, and then I'll drop the weight by about 30%, and then I'll pump out another 15 or so reps after a break, of course. There'll be no swinging, no momentum. Again, the only thing that moves is the elbow joint. So the shoulder all stays fixed in place. Now we're moving on to a cable crossbody extension. This is a really good movement that I've only just started doing. What it does where you use that machine is it allows you again to get the full range of motion. So you'll notice that I can fully extend at the bottom, but also at the top, my forearms are touching my biceps. So we're getting that full length and range of the tricep. So when your arms are here, the tricep is lengthened. When they're here, the tricep is short, and we're hitting both of those ranges with this movement. Again, slow, controlled, squeezing and pushing to failure on every set. Similar to the last tricep exercise, you'll notice that I'm hinged slightly forward at the hip, just so that I can get the arm all the way back and then all the way up at the top. And it also just helps to brace and stabilize the body throughout the whole movement. Then we move on to the last bicep exercise, which is going to be a dumbbell hammer curl. Now, a big mistake I always see with these is that people will do them one arm and then the other arm and then the other arm. The problem with that is that when the arm is straightened waiting for this arm to do its rep, this arm, the tension is completely off. So you want to make sure you're doing both of them together, slow, controlled, squeeze at the top, squeeze at the bottom, and you're going to have time under tension on both arms throughout the whole movement. Now, the last exercise we're going to move on to is a cable rope extension. I use a long rope for this. Again, same reason, it's going to allow you to fully extend the arm at the bottom of the movement. So what you want to make sure is you're either using the long rope attachment, or if your gym doesn't have a long rope, you can get two short ropes, pull them both through, attach them at the top, and that's going to give you a makeshift long rope. So try that next time and see how much better it feels. Flick your wrist at the bottom, and that's going to make sure you're fully activating the tricep. Again, we're pushing to failure here. This is the last exercise to give it your all. Now, what workout wouldn't be complete without a little flex up at the end while you've got a good pump on? So while I'm being a poser, I'm just going to talk about my cardio routine. So at the moment, I'm on 30 mins of cardio every single day. Now that is LISS, so low intensity, steady state. I do that on either a bike or a Stairmaster. Both of those machines I really like. I get a good sweat on from them, but they're not too fatiguing. I do like the spin bike, as you can see here as well. I just find that that hits the spot a little bit better and gets my quads a little bit pumped too. Now, I would normally recommend splitting your cardio up from your actual weights workouts by around 6 hours, but given that I'm only doing 30 minutes and it's low intensity, I'm not that concerned. So I'm gonna finish that up and then get back to the flat for a meal. So we've run through the training, we've run through the diet, we've run through the cardio, we've spoken about the discipline. The last thing that I want to talk about, and I mention this a lot in my videos, but it is so important, and that is steps. So I'm on 10K a day at the moment. That doesn't include any steps that have been accrued through cardio throughout the day. 10K, I like to get that through a morning walk, a lunchtime walk, and an evening walk, or alternatively on a weekend, I like to go visit my parents. We'll have a catch-up walking the dog somewhere nice and rural. Or I've got a massive park near me that I like to go to sometimes on my own. I get a bit of nature, it's some nice solitude, alone with your thoughts. And that's something I really like to do, and then I can clear through all of my steps for the day as well. And actually today, given that the weather's really nice, that's where I'm gonna go this evening, just to clear through pretty much all of my 10K steps. I've got about 8K left to hit, so I'm gonna go and do all of them in one hit. So let's go. now just getting a walk in at Bedford's Park. So this bit of land is really elevated, so you get really good views of London. I like coming down here for nice long walks. Now everything I've shown you today, I'll be living and breathing over the next 4 weeks to bring my best look yet in Marbella. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate the support. It doesn't go unnoticed. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the big content that I've got planned in Marbella. So I'll see you then.